good day, students. Today we are going to be creating a flyer for, this is going to be week 10. Last week we created a poster for your company, your organization. And this week we're going to be doing something similar. I mean, the only difference will be the size. Last week, the size for the poster was 24 inches by 36 inches. This week, the flyer size will be 8.5 by 11. Let me go ahead and share my screen. And without further ado, let's jump right into it. Let's go ahead and we're going to create. We're going to go to File. Matter of fact, I'm going to be in Photoshop, and I'm going to open up Photoshop. Is already open, and I'm going to be creating an 8.5 by 11 document. Now, I think the assignment calls for you to, you can create it in any Adobe software you have, but probably the best software to create this in is in Photoshop. So I'm going to go ahead and name my document. I'm going to name it flyer, and it's going to be 8.5 by 11, and the resolution will be 300 dots per inch DPI. Okay, create. And many times I like for my my rulers tab on the side, on the top. Right now they're in pixels. I want to change this to inches, just to give me. I just right click on this, let you select where you want to put it in. I want to put it in inches. So as we see, 0 to 8.5, 0 to 11 down here at the bottom. So, and as always with me, my rule of thumb is to always pull in a guide that will center everything on the page. So click here on the ruler here, and I'm gonna pull it in. So it should snap to my 4.25, which is half of 8.5. Okay. Now I've got some files. Let's go to my the flyer that I'll be creating. So this is the flyer. It's gonna be a lunch. It's gonna be like it was last week. We had a product lunch. In my case, I have an open house subdivision lunch, and we're gonna make it look just like this here. I've got my images, and I'll show you how I actually created this particular flyer using all the elements and the instruments that I have. So let's go to Photoshop, and I'm gonna open up my files first. So let's go to File, Open, and I'm gonna look for my files. My image files, document design. Let's go to week 10 flyer, and my file right here. Here's my logo. Here is a couple of files I use to get my home, and here is my background file. And like I said, if you want to get some pretty good, decent files, I know that sometimes you'll have assignments that will require some clip art or whatever. I will go to this website here, and it's called freepik.com. We got some pretty decent images, and Freepik is FREEPIK.com. I must have I didn't put a dot. That put a comma. Anyway, copy that, put it up here, paste, and take me to freepik.com. You can look for whatever pics. Most of them are free, a lot of them are paid. I've got a paid subscription to this particular site. And if I just want to type in whatever you want to look for, I want to type in a house, go to search, and it will show me pictures of particular houses. Now you can also choose if you want to go to photos, just photos only. It'll pull up photos only. And these pictures right here with the crown on them, these are ones that you paid for. And the subscription, I think, is only like you go to the price and check out and see if it's affordable for you. Well, yeah, I've got a subscription to that. And if you want, Photoshop, already Photoshop files or vector files or all images, and they also have the ability for you to have AI file as well. So this is a free image, looks like. You just download it, and then once you download it, you can use the particular image in one of your pieces of your art that you create. So that's just one of the resources that I use when I'm looking for images. Let's make sure that when we do use images, our images are high resolution, because it's always better for your image to be real big and to scale it down as opposed to being real small and then scale it up. Because once you go from small to big, you go from small to big, then your image will have a chance of it being very pixelated. So you want to start out with your image at a very high resolution as possible. And if that's the case, then you should be good to go. Now, in my case, I pulled this image, found this image at Freepik, and what I did was I cut around it, and I got this right here. So I just wanted the house only. I didn't want the background clouds because I kind of wanted to make this a fun piece. And I, even though the slogan for my company is "Live it, dream it, live it," I want something that represents we're bringing homes that are out of this world. So that's the reason for my space background. So it's cool to have a little fun with these projects that we're creating. We only have just 2 or 3 more weeks, but let's have the most fun we can out of creating and designing our products themselves. Okay, so now I've got my home. I'm going to drag my home over to my main flyer page that I'm creating. And I'm also going to go ahead, since I've got that, I'm going to go ahead and close this out since I've got that. I'm going to go ahead and pull my space background over here to my flyer as well. And you can either drag them to your from file, or you can select all, copy, and then paste them over here. So there are various ways that you can actually maneuver around creating your piece. Now I'm going to scale this down. I can leave it like it is, or I can scale it down. I'm going to scale it down just a little bit. So I'm going to hit Control T. That's going to allow me to just scale it down just a little bit here. I'm going to center it right here. Now, if you look at my layers, I did drag a house over here. So I want that house layer to be on top. So now that I got my house layer on top. Sometimes I'll go in and name my labels. Sometimes I won't. My layers, and sometimes I won't. I'll go ahead and just name for this. Let's say this is my house layer, and this is my space background layer. Okay, so now I want to drag my logo in. Okay, I've opened that up. So just pull this, bring it over here, and it's big. So, like I said, if you want real crisp, fresh images, make sure that the file sizes are big, and then you can scale them up. Make sure that they don't start off like this here, and then you got to scale them up, because you scale them up like that, then they'll be very pixelated. So in this case, this is what I need right here. And I got my logo at the top. And I can pretty much go by my template right here as far as how I want it to look. So I'm going to put all my text in first, and then I'm going to put the effects on my logo, on my home, and I want to put there's supposed to be some summary text, but what I'm going to do today is just put in what's called filler text, which you can go back in and put your summary or in later. So, and that's what I'm doing for this purpose. So, open house, subdivision launch. Drag this down here, and then I'm going to I'm going to use my text tool to put in open house. I want the open house, the text open house to stand out. Just so those who are interested it'll jump out at them. So all caps and put an open house. I'm going to select all, and I want to select my color right here, my color palette right here. So it was a yellow. It's like a goldish yellow here. Let's see. Let's go with this yellow right here. Okay. And my font is going to be Montserrat. So I scroll up here, and thickness is going to be black. And I want to scale it all the way up where it covers to the span of the page here. So get open house, and I'm going to move my kerning just a little bit, and I'm going to expand, make it a little bit larger here. So now we got an open house. Now I can either copy this particular text and then create subdivision launch out of that, or I can just use my text tool and type right here again and move on from there. But what I think I want to do, I just want to click, hold, use my Alt Shift key and create a new layer. So you can either go here and create a new layer right here, and it'll double that layer up and then drag it down, or I could like use my keyboard shortcuts, which is what I always do. So open house, and I'm gonna type in subdivision launch. L-A-U-N-C-H. I want to select all by hitting Control A or Option A if you have a Mac. And I want to make sure that this is going to be regular. Let's make it medium, a little bit thicker. And I'm gonna take my font size all the way down to 30, and I'll move it up a little bit from there. So and take it over here. And I may create this a little bit different than I did with the previous flyer that I have, but it's okay. We're freestyling, we want to have fun with this. So now I want to give it just a little bit of depth. So if I select my open house layer, I right click on open house, I want to go to my blending options and put a little drop shadow on the back there. So I go to my blending options, make sure if I click on drop shadow, make sure this is selected right here, and it's going to give you a preview as far as how the drop shadow is going to look. I want to make sure this is a little bit thicker. As you can tell, it's giving it just a little bit of depth here. And I can take down the opacity for the drop shadow if I want to. Depends on how I want to. Now, if I want that same effect go on this word on the subdivision launch, I can simply click right here, this FX, which means effects. Click, hold, Shift and Alt or Option on Mac, and then just drag up, and it'll have both. Will have the effects. I think that's what I want. Right back to subdivision launch a little bit larger. Let me make it just a little bit larger here. So it'll be just similar. Now you see, I have my line that will guide me. This center line will guide me. So I want everything perfectly centered. Okay, we're almost there. Also, I finish putting in these details here. Let's see what we have to go over now. So I want to put my slogan, bringing you homes that are out of this world, my date, my launch date, time, address, phone number, website address, slogan. So we're going to go bring it home out of this world. So the way I copied that last one, I'm going to copy it again. I'm going to copy the open house again. And the way I did that was I hit Alt Shift, and you can hit Option Shift on your keyboard on your Mac, and then just drag down and it'll copy that particular layer for you. And I want to go into this layer right here, and I want to put in bring in you homes out of this world! Exclamation point. I'm select all of my text, bring it all the way down to how many points do I want? I'm at 18. Let's see what 18. Okay, so I can just scale up from here. Being home as this world. Okay. So I got my slogan. I want to move this up just a little bit so I have enough room for my other pieces. And each time you have all these pieces and these layers, you can always go from layer to layer. Click on, make sure you have your move tool selected, and then you go from layer to layer and just move pieces around here. Make sure that this is centered real good. And I want to put my date. The date I have for this particular event is going to be Saturday, April 19th, 2025. I'll drag this layer right here. And the date is going to be Saturday, April 19th, 2025. Well, this text is going to be white, but I'm going to scale this all the way up. I want them to make sure what the date is going to be. Make sure that stands out. And I'm going to make sure that text is going to be white. So if I double click on my color palette, my foreground color palette, in the upper left-hand corner here, it's going to give me, I want to make sure it gets to the hexadecimal that represents a true white, F, 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 6 times. Hit OK. And we've got our date. And if I scroll in, zoom in here, I'm going to put the time, the address, and I want to take the effects off of that. And I'm going to make this even a thinner font. Instead of it being black, I'm going to make it medium. I'm going to take down the size to about 18, I guess. And we're going to put 12 o'clock noon. Space. A bullet or a dash. Alt 0149. Should have gave me a bullet, but I guess it didn't. So just gonna put a dash right now. 12 noon, 4459. Houston Levy Road dash Houston. Make sure we check out spelling as well. Cordova. Let's see, 38018. So of course this is a fictitious address, but you know, it's okay. This is just for class purposes only. So we're good on that. Now I want to put in my website address. So I'm gonna copy another one of these layers. And every time you copy a layer, as you can see, if you look in your layers, it's adding a new layer here. So of course you know that. Website address is going to be, I'll put it in all lowercase, Cozy Residential. Cozy Home, Cozy Dreams Residential. CozyDreamsResidential.com. I want to scale this down just a bit. Scale down just a bit. And I also want the same color as the light colored part of the logo. So I'm going to select my eyedropper tool. Select this right here. As you see, it gives me my color palette right here. And if I go back to my text itself, double click on it, I toggle back and forth, it'll change it to that color, which is what I want. So let's go back to the piece itself. I want to put the phone number and I want to put my slogan. So let's go. Let's try to put the phone number in here. So we put the phone number. And I'm gonna take this up just, I'm gonna take all these layers up just a little bit. Uh-oh. Take all these layers up just a little bit. Make sure it's not too high, but not too low. I'm gonna copy this layer and make my phone number right above the website address. And we'll put phone 901. 901 636 Cozy. And last thing at the bottom here, slogan, which is dream it, live it. And I want to make that a script font. And I did the original flyer on another system, so they may not have the same font that I have on this particular system I'm using right now. But let's just look for a nice little script font here. I'll go to my font up top. Let's find a nice one here. And make sure it's about freestyle. You think freestyle will work? Yeah, let's try it. Okay, learn how to spell dream first. Okay, so we use this particular font here. And we'll just tighten it up just a little bit. Make sure everything's perfectly centered. Bring this down just a bit. Bring this down just a little bit. And bring this down just a little bit. And there we have the bottom good to go. Now, as we see, we have some filler text. Now, usually, if I just want to do it, put in like some filler text, I would go to go to google.com, and they have plenty of filler text online. I usually type in ipsum lorem, and they have these generators just as filler text, just until you can get your the real text that you need to promote your product, your item. And then on this page, you either copy this right here, or you can copy, you can go and generate the amount of text that you want. So let's say, for example, I want 5 paragraphs of text. I really don't need that. I probably just need I just need just 1 paragraph of text. I put in 1, and then I go to generate lorem ipsum, and I can just take this text and I can just copy it. Tells me to generate 1 paragraph, 81 words, and I can just copy this and then go back, and I'm going to make sure that my text is going to be white. Go to my text tool, create a box that will fill in this particular space right here. I already selected, so I just need to hit paste. And so that's my filler text. So I'm gonna select all of that, make sure this is white by toggling back and forth here. Make sure that this is not black. I wanna make sure it's regular though. I wanna make sure my font size is 12 and make sure it's just by to the left. And so now, when I get ready to put in the text that needs to go for this lunch, it'll be easy. I just replace it with this right here. And so let me make this just, I want to make this text just a little bit larger. This is on the 8.5 by 11 flyer, so we have to take that in consideration as well. So. And as always, while you're working on a piece, go ahead and hit your save. So we did it a long time ago. I put up a lot of stuff. I'll create a lot of stuff. And we'll just name this particular flyer. Name it just Week 10 flyer. Save that. Okay. And now we only have one thing left. We want to make sure this house looks like it is coming out of this world. So the way I do that, we'll look back on the original flyer. I want to tilt this at an angle, then also give it an effect, which is this particular effect is because it's called a motion blur. And so I'll show you how I achieve that particular look. So let's go ahead and let's tilt this house first. Let's select the house layer. And once you select it, it will, if you move your cursor to the upper right-hand corner, you can move it inward actually, and it will create the double arrow, the curved double arrow, which lets you know that you can like throw it in at an angle. And if you look up here in your information, it'll tell you what angle and everything you want to put in. If you want to put it in 45 degrees, you just type in 45 degrees, and it will put it in 45 degrees. But if I don't want it in 45 degrees, I can just manually adjust it myself, like so. And I want to make it just a little bit bigger, matter of fact. And I want to make sure this layer is all the way up top because I want it to be on the top. So put it on just a little bit, just to give it a little bit more depth. And now I want to create a blur, a motion blur for this as well. So what I would do this, I want to copy this layer. So this house layer, I'm going to copy it. Just drag it or right click on it and then copy. Either way. But it's copy. So I have two layers now. So I have one house layer in the front, one layer in the back. I want to go to the one in the back. Then I want to go to filter, blur, motion blur. And so I want to be able and make sure I'm able to see the preview. Make sure that you can see the preview. So the distance is going to be all the way right here, but I want to put it in the angle right here. And I think I still got my front layer selected. So I'll just, once I finish putting the effect on it, I will just drag it behind the house so you can see the house itself. So leave it at that angle right there. I want to take it at a distance, 250, that's good. So zoom back in. As you can see, it's a blur. So I'll take it down here just a little bit, right up under here. And I can, you can move it just a little bit more. So this house layer, this is my blur layer now, and I'll rename this blur, house blur, or motion blur. I want to also, okay, let's take it behind here now so you can see the effect itself. Now I want to take it, I want to take the opacity down just a little bit. Let's take it down to like 75, would 75 work? Or maybe 70. I think that'll work right there. 70. Okay. So it looks like it's launching, it's going out of this world. So I go to File, Save, and I'm basically done. I want to go ahead and flatten this image. And I want to save it. I want to save it, go to File, Save As. I want to save it as a JPEG so I can turn it in. Or File, Save As a PDF, which is probably the most, if you get it printed out, then yeah. you want to save it as a PDF. So, okay. Reserve Photoshop editing capabilities, no. And there you have it. So when you create your particular flyer, and like I said, it should be similar to your poster on last week, probably a little less details than your poster. But it's basically the same thing, a lunch photo flyer that you can pass out, to your particular customers or vendors or whoever. And make sure you have fun with it. Let me know if you have any questions, and I look forward to seeing you soon.